fever dream, living in the fever dream. Hello. So today has been a very special day, or rather yesterday, because I came up with a wonderful idea for my story. And so, with that in mind, we will be adjusting some of the thematic depth that I have previously explored and recontextualize what I had written with the idea I have in mind. So, let's get into it. The idea is that Ella is transported to an alternate reality where basically the anglerfish, which is the entity that controls Ella's that Ella kind of perceives as God falsely, punishes her into her perception of hell, the state of editor, cut this part. Ella commits a moral action which she personally believes to be reprehensible. She believes that it makes her a despicable person, and it involves, well, it was like, it's hard to explain. So like, okay, basically, she sends someone to hell. She, to sort of, okay, greater context of the story, there's magic, okay? And Ella's friend, M, has the magical power to basically do anything she wants. She's practically speaking omnipotent and doesn't realize it. And Ella makes the wish to send this person to hell because he committed a school shooting. And basically, after doing this, Ella realizes, like, oh my god, I basically just killed a man and sent him to suffer for eternity. And she is symbolically transported to, or not symbolically, she's literally transported to what she perceives as hell as a symbolic representation for damnation. And in hell, everything at first seems perfectly fine. In fact, it's too good to be true, literally. For example, her parents come back to life. Editor, pause this part. The scene I had already written yesterday is that Ella basically is sent to hell, or the transition of being transferred from reality to reality is a state of nothingness where the star lacks any, the state of nothingness where the sky lacks any stars, hint, Starless World 2, hint. And, okay. And Ella, in her panic, accidentally calls her father. And she keeps her father's contact in her phone because, if you don't know, a lot of people in the grieving process will text the person who died or like send messages to their phone number even if, you know, it doesn't get a response. It's just, you know, the symbolism of it, of like texting someone who has died, gives you a lot of relief. And so she still has her father's name in her contact and her father's number, and basically she accidentally clicks the number, and as a result he answers, and everything is too good to be true. He says that they left this morning and that we had some food for you on the table, and appropriately she reacts like, oh my god, I miss you so much. And her father, just thinking that it's just another, you know, bout of anxiety, is just like, oh, it's okay, we will come back right after school. And so, M, by the way, who was shot in the school shooting, appears completely normal, and she doesn't even question it. She's like, oh, okay, I guess that was just a horrible nightmare. Like, I just had a really, really bad nightmare. But I'm okay now. I'm okay. Like, it was all just a dream. You know, the first 20 years of my life, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Let's just accept this. Let's not question this. And she literally goes, I do not have to understand what is happening. So, with that in mind, Um, so, she interprets this new transportation of reality as heaven. And she doesn't know why it has happened, but she doesn't question it. She doesn't know what she has done to earn this, but it's okay, because it's literally too good to be true. And when I say literally, everything falls apart shortly after. So, she goes to class, and by the way, in the context of the greater story, M has used her magical abilities to sort of... Oh my god, I sound so stupid. M has used her magical abilities to make it so that it is impossible for Ella to be called on by her teachers because she finds it anxiety-provoking. So, basically, when her economics teacher directly stares at her and says her name, she freaks the fuck out. She's like, oh my god, something has gone wrong. What happened to my wish? What happened to M? And it gets even worse. So, the teacher says, you emailed me. Something about wanting to come out. And so if you don't know, my character is lesbian as fuck, but she's closeted. To everyone, by the way. Not even her closest friends. And so when he claims there's this email, he's she's like, oh my god, something must have gone horribly wrong in this world. This is no longer heaven, this is actually hell. And basically, the teacher reads out, I have a confession to make, reading off the email. I am a homosexual. Please allow me the opportunity to come out to class tomorrow morning. Thank you. And when she hears this, she's overwhelmed instantaneously. If you don't know the feeling of ever having to come out in the first place, that is overwhelming in itself. Being outed is so much worse. As someone who has accidentally outed herself, don't recommend it. So basically, she goes to the bathroom and she calls M. And M says, I mean, you aren't actually gay, though, right? Right? And Ella stutters, unable to reply. And M simply says, oh, okay, and hangs up. So, basically, the anglerfish, the entity that controls this reality and is trying to embarrass Ella and make her suffer for what she perceives as eternal sin, is basically trying to make everyone around her, through manipulation, betray her values, betray their own values, and actually, the idea is that, okay, we're jumping ahead to parts I haven't written yet, but, calm down. Editor, cut this part out. Okay, so basically, the only way for Ella to communicate with M, Faith, and her parents is through her phone. They do not exist in this reality, for real. They are simply fake people. And so, sorry, I should mention that this idea is very personal to me, and it makes me nervous to talk about it. And it's as if I get suspicious of it actually being true, because I have operated on this assumption for the entirety of my teenage life and beyond, because I'm no longer a teenager. So, because of how M, Faith, and her parents are treating her, which are not good, because they will gaslight her, they will remark things that are not pleasant, she stops calling them, even though she really misses them and is wondering where they actually are. But then, they start calling her, and she answers at first, and is met with the most vile insults, and basically, the anglerfish speaks to her through the voices of her friends and family, but the content of the speech is nothing of what they would actually say, but it's through their voices, so it's like really fucking with her head, if you know what I mean. And and eventually she stops answering the calls. But then she hears their voices without even interacting with her phone. She starts to hallucinate auditory she starts to imagine editor, cut this part out. She starts to hear the voices of her family and friends who insult her, who tell her horrible things like to kill herself. And she doesn't know how to cope with it because she relied on them so much and baseline reality for her comfort and her compulsions as she suffers from OCD. And now that she has no way to cope with reality, she truly suffers. And so basically, the result of this, to continue what I've already written, is that her physics teacher gets her email, the email that she never sent. And she just screams at the tops of her lungs, "I'm not fucking gay!" Which is a bit humorous outside of the context, as I have realized. But like, she's experiencing total and complete despair. So she screams, "I don't know." Wait, sorry. Let me practice this celebrate. "I don't know what this whatever is happening. I didn't send any email to you at all." The first 2 periods of Ella's high school don't actually share any classes. She doesn't share any classes with Faith or Ella, but her 3rd period, PE, does. And so when she goes to PE, none of them are there. They're absent. But she just thinks they're absent even though they didn't mention it during their calls. But they actually don't exist in this reality as mentioned. And so she freaks the fuck out. And she goes to her biology class early and she talks to her teacher. Would you happen to know if will Faith be present today? Upon hearing this, the teacher simply asks, "Who is Faith?" Now, Faith shares this class with the biology teacher, so of course the teacher should know who Faith is. But this remark spirals Ella even further. She realizes something is terribly wrong, and as if the teacher can read her thoughts, she says, "And I saw your email. You told me something feels off, right? Something has gone terribly wrong, right? It's all true. And if I were you, I'd be sure to check the locks on your windows tonight." It's as if reality itself has sort of transformed into her worst nightmare, because it quite literally has. Her perception of hell has become true because she has perceived herself as being damned to hell, and the anglerfish, who is a false god that she believes in, will sort of thrive off this self-hatred and allow it to like form a reality that is actually in alignment with what she believes. So she goes to English class, and for the first time, a teacher treats her with kindness. She says, "How are you feeling today?" "I'm sorry to hear that. Would you like to speak to the counselor?" And the rest of this I have barely written. But basically, if you don't know, school counselors tend to suck ass. I'm fortunate enough to never have to rely on a school counselor, so I don't have any good nor bad experiences because I don't have any experiences with my school counselors at all. I never really spoke to mine, but I have heard from my friends that it can be pretty bad, like how they like handle situations. For example, they will usually call your parents regardless of how much you want them to actually do so. And basically, Ella tells the counselor about her experience, about how she believes that she has been transported from another reality and everything has been going horribly wrong. And when the counselor hears this, she's like, yep, we need to call a psychiatrist and get you on medication. Even though that this is actually happening, she is being put on medication that does not make her feel good. It makes her drowsy. It doesn't let her focus. She's not herself. The medication doesn't actually do what it's supposed to do because she is not mentally ill in that way to begin with. Because in the world of my story, the events of the false god and everything is actually real. She is not experiencing psychosis. She's genuinely like suffering in an alternate reality where all of this is actually happening. So, basically, and I haven't written any of this yet, I've only written about 10 pages of this idea, and I estimate it will probably be about like a full 90-minute movie arc, 3 episodes, whatever, however I describe it. But basically, everything will slowly go horribly wrong. As I mentioned, she will start to get calls from the people that used to exist, and when she doesn't answer them, she will hear their voices anyway. Every time she tries to speak up about her experience, about what she feels and how she perceives reality, she will retch, unable to express herself, unable to be like, cut that out. She's driven to such intense suicidal ideation that she believes the only way to escape reality is to kill herself. Now, this is what the anglerfish wants. She wants her to suffer and to die by, oh my god, it's so bright. It's so bright. In my starless world, in my starless world, find me, I'll be dying. In my starless world, alone, 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 alone. All of this is a result of her self-hatred, because she perceives what she does as sinful, and she believes she deserves eternal suffering. God, the false god, the anglerfish, will deprive her of her ability to experience reality as she should, and will send her to a false reality where she will suffer eternally, in the worst case possible of her truest nightmare, where everything goes wrong. And so, for example, to talk about the biology teacher who mentioned that her windows should get checked. When she returns home, not only are her parents not home, but the window has been broken. It's as if someone has come into her house and replaced every single object in a slightly different way that doesn't actually appear to be different, but just feels intrinsically wrong. As if, like, it's been replaced ever so delicately without mistakes, but something is still different, nonetheless. Around in my head, around in my head, around in my head, around in my brain and blood beneath that skin. Wonder if this body's real. No one to prove my existence, but glass of water in my hand.